Have you ever been hit by a crisis that just can't wait? You know, a problem with your health, your money, or a relationship that just pops up out of nowhere and demands a solution right now? Well, what if there was a totally different way to look at these moments? Today, we're going to dive into a guide for navigating these exact crises using some ancient Vedic astrological principles that offer some surprisingly practical, fast-acting remedies.
And listen, that's not me saying that. That is a direct quote from our source material. It's a really bold claim, I know, but it speaks to those moments when everything's on the line, a health scare, a sudden job loss, when you need something that works and works now. So how is that even possible? Let's get into it.
We've all been there, right? Life is going along just fine, and then, bam! Some critical issue just throws everything completely off balance. It feels overwhelming. But what if these crises weren't actually so random? What if there were cosmic clues, like little alerts, that could help us prepare for these storms and, more importantly, navigate through them?
According to our source, Vedic astrology can act like a kind of cosmic weather forecast. Certain planetary periods are basically alerts, signaling a time when we just need to be extra careful and maybe apply some specific remedies to keep our balance. So, what are these alerts? Let's break them down.
Okay, first up, we have to look at where a planet is hanging out during its active period. If it lands in what's known as the 6th or 12th house of your birth chart, you can think of that as a yellow warning light. In Vedic astrology, the 6th house is often tied to things like obstacles and health issues, while the 12th can point to hidden challenges or big expenses. So this placement is basically a cosmic heads-up to be a little more vigilant.
Second, you might be in the period of a planet that is debilitated. Now, what's really interesting here is that debilitated doesn't mean the planet is bad or out to get you. It just means its positive energy isn't really at its peak. It's kind of like a car running on fumes. It just needs some extra support, a little tune-up, which is exactly where these remedies come into play.
And the third major alert is when you're in a period related to your Bratru Karaka. I know, that's a bit of a technical term. It's just the name for the planet that has the third highest degree in your chart. This specific planet is a big influencer on your courage, your ambitions, and even your relationships with siblings and peers. So the source warns that when its period is active, you could face some pretty big challenges, especially in those really important relationships.
A lot of these alerts actually fall under a system called the Kalachakra Dasha. Now, don't let the name intimidate you. It's described as this incredibly powerful, yet surprisingly simple system of planetary cycles. And the origin story is amazing. It's said to have been revealed by Lord Shiva himself. It's a really key piece of the puzzle for understanding these intense times in our lives.
But here's something that is absolutely crucial to understand. These difficult periods, they're not just about bad stuff happening. They are periods of massive change. Our source gives this powerful example of a woman whose marriage suddenly ended during one of these phases. I mean, just devastating, right? But during that exact same time, her career exploded in a way she never could have imagined. It just goes to show you the universe is often just rebalancing things, even if it feels totally chaotic in the moment.
So you've identified one of these cosmic alerts in your own life. Now what? What's the very first step? Well, according to the source, the most foundational remedy isn't some complex ritual. It's actually a powerful spiritual connection. This is where it all begins.
Before you do anything else, the recommendation is to turn to the worship of Lord Shiva. And why Shiva? Well, because that whole Kalachakra Dasha system we just talked about is said to have originated from him. The idea is that this practice gives you the inner clarity and the strength to not just survive these periods, but to actually understand the lesson that's trying to come through. It's the foundation that all the other remedies are built on.
All right, so once that spiritual foundation is in place, the source points us to a remedy that is so incredibly practical. It's something you do every single day. Eating. It seems almost too simple, but the argument here is that a lot of financial crises can be tackled by controlling the earth element. And the most direct way to do that? It's through your food. The principle here is pretty simple, but it's also really profound when you think about it. Your financial stability, your wealth, your savings, all of it is governed by the earth element. And the most direct way you interact with and influence that element is through what you eat. So if you want to fix your finances, you have to start with what's on your plate.
And this isn't just some ancient theory. The source actually points to a modern economic survey that had a fascinating finding. It revealed that the Jain community, who are famous for their extremely strict and mindful dietary rules, no onions, no garlic, no food after sunset, is the single wealthiest community in India. The connection is pretty hard to ignore. Controlling your eating habits really seems to have a direct, measurable impact on your wealth.
So how do we actually apply this? This is where we get into the step-by-step tutorial part. We're going to look at how to turn the simple act of eating into a really powerful ritual for balancing that earth element and bringing financial stability back into your life.
Okay, let's break these rituals down. First, make your meals a focused family event. The source even suggests sitting on the floor if you can, to physically connect with that earth energy. Second, once you sit down to eat, you stay seated. No getting up, no answering the phone. Your full attention is on your meal. Third, and this one's a really fascinating energetic concept, never share food from your plate after you've started eating. This is known as jutha. The idea is that your personal energy gets imprinted on the food, and sharing it can actually mess with that balance. And finally, you have to pay attention to the materials you're eating with.
And this is where the details get really, really cool. As you can see here, the source suggests you can align the material of your utensils with specific planetary energies. So for example, if you're in a tough Saturn period, steel is recommended to help ground that energy. For an expansive planet like Jupiter, simple clay pots are perfect. It's about creating harmony right down to the very spoon you're using.
So you've done the work, you've taken energy from the earth through your food. Now to keep that positive cycle flowing and to maintain that abundance, there's one last absolutely crucial step. You have to give back. You have to repay that debt to the earth.
So how do we do that? Well, it can be as simple as planting trees and actually taking care of them, or it can be as consistent as feeding birds or other animals every single day. But the source puts a really special emphasis on anadan, the donation of food. It's described as a royal act, something that kings used to do, because when you feed others, you embody abundance itself. And this one act is said to dissolve karmic debts and make sure the flow of wealth is never blocked in your own life.
So the biggest takeaway here is that even when life feels totally chaotic, we are not helpless. Whether it's by understanding our own cosmic alerts, making a spiritual connection, or turning a simple meal into a powerful ritual, we have tools to actively bring balance back. It's a huge shift from feeling like a victim of your circumstances to becoming an active participant in your own well-being. And that just leaves us with one simple but powerful question. What is one small act you can do today to start giving back and completing that cycle of abundance?